Could the U.S. decision to deploy its most advanced missile defense system in Israel ignite a new arms race in the Middle East? Or is it the key to shielding the region from unprecedented threats like Iran's ballistic missile program? Today, we're diving deep into what the THAAD anti-missile system really means for Israel, the U.S., and the entire Middle East. This move is more than just defense. It could reshape the entire geopolitical landscape. But the real question is, are we on the verge of a new era of stability, or are we unknowingly setting the stage for escalation? Let's cut straight to the point. The THAAD, or Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, is now operational in Israel. This isn't just another military deployment. It's the first time this cutting-edge anti-missile system has been stationed in Israel, at a time when tensions in the Middle East are skyrocketing. But why now? To understand the urgency behind this deployment, you need to know that Israel is sitting on a ticking time bomb. The growing missile threat from Iran and its proxy militias, like Hezbollah, has forced the U.S. and Israel to rethink their entire defense strategy. Iran's ballistic missile program has evolved rapidly, with missiles that can now travel over 1,200 miles, far enough to strike not only Israel, but also U.S. military bases in the region. In short, Israel needed an immediate high-tech solution, and the U.S. just delivered one. But first, what makes THAAD such a big deal? Developed by Lockheed Martin, THAAD is one of the most advanced missile defense systems in the world. It's designed to intercept incoming missiles both inside and outside the Earth's atmosphere, at speeds exceeding Mach 8. The U.S. has deployed it in places like South Korea and Guam to counter North Korean threats, but this is its first deployment in Israel, and for good reason. Here's where it gets interesting. Israel already has its own missile defense systems like Iron Dome and David's Sling, but they aren't enough to handle what's coming next: hypersonic missiles and long-range ballistic weapons. Enter THAAD. With its multi-layered defense approach, it fills the gaps, ensuring that Israel is protected from the most sophisticated missile threats. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: Iran. The growing tension between Israel and Iran is no secret. In 2023 alone, Iran launched over a dozen ballistic missile tests. But the real kicker? Iran is reportedly developing hypersonic missiles, ones that could reach Israel in a matter of minutes, and THAAD might be the only thing standing in their way. This deployment also sends a message, not just to Iran, but to the entire region. The U.S. is doubling down on its commitment to Israel's security, even as the rest of the world navigates increasingly complex diplomatic waters. But here's the catch. This move isn't just about defense, it's also about deterrence. The presence of THAAD could force Iran to reconsider its missile program or risk facing an impenetrable defense system. But THAAD's deployment isn't just about Iran. It's about the entire balance of power in the Middle East. Iran isn't the only country with long-range missile capabilities. Countries like Syria and even non-state actors like Hezbollah are stockpiling sophisticated weapons, and they're all watching this latest move closely. THAAD could be the deterrent that prevents these groups from launching attacks, knowing that their missiles would be shot down long before they ever reached Israeli soil. But, and this is where it gets tricky, does the deployment of THAAD escalate the situation further? Some experts argue that by bringing such a high-tech weapon into the region, the U.S. and Israel could provoke a new arms race. Iran and other nations might now feel compelled to further advance their missile technology, leading to a dangerous cycle of escalation. It's a fine line between defense and provocation, and only time will tell which path we're heading down. This move is part of a broader, decades-long partnership between the U.S. and Israel in missile defense. From the early development of the Iron Dome to the more recent integration of David's Sling, the two nations have been working together to create a multi-layered shield against missile threats. But what's different this time? The scope of the threat. While earlier defense systems were designed to counter shorter-range threats, like rockets from Gaza, THAAD is built to counter more advanced long-range missiles. It represents a shift in thinking, from a regional defense strategy to one that considers global threats, including the potential involvement of Russia and China, who are also developing advanced missile technologies. Here's the million-dollar question: is that enough to protect Israel? Yes, it's an incredibly advanced system, but missile technology is evolving at lightning speed. Hypersonic missiles are already on the horizon, and they travel too fast for most current defense systems to intercept. That's why the US and Israel aren't stopping at THAAD. They're already working on the next generation of defense technologies, including laser systems and directed energy weapons. These new technologies could intercept missiles before they even leave the launch pad, but they're still years away from being fully operational. For now, THAAD is Israel's best shot at staying ahead in the missile defense game. The deployment of THAAD in Israel is a strategic masterstroke, but it's not without consequences. Iran and other regional powers will undoubtedly see this as a threat, potentially escalating their own missile development programs. On the flip side, it could also deter missile launches altogether, providing Israel with a much-needed shield in an increasingly hostile region. One thing's for sure, the U.S. is doubling down on its commitment to Israel's security, and this move could redefine military strategy in the Middle East for years to come. But it's not just about military might. This deployment could also change diplomatic relations in the region, with countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE possibly seeking similar missile defense agreements with the U.S. We're witnessing a turning point in Middle Eastern defense strategy, and it all starts with THAAD. So, what do you think? Is THAAD the game changer that will ensure Israel's safety, or could this escalate tensions in an already volatile region? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take on how this might shape the future of missile defense. And if you have any questions about how THAAD works, drop them below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on the latest updates on global defense technology.